Some calisthenics exercises are light to the point where doing 20 reps per set is not an issue at all. For example, doing 20 push-ups in a row is not something that will take a lot of time to achieve. However, does this mean that high volume calisthenics is cardio and therefore it cannot build you muscle? You probably already heard that high volume calisthenics is cardio, but this is wrong, at least partially. Even if high reps and sets calisthenics could be considered more cardiovascular demanding than standard weightlifting, it is still misleading to say that high volume calisthenics is cardio. When you say cardio, the first things that come to mind are jogging, jump rope, and movement of these sorts that involve a constant, non-stopping movement. No sets or reps counted, just distance, pace, or time passed. On the other hand, when you see high volume calisthenics, you see push-ups, dips, pull-ups, bodyweight rows. These bodyweight exercises, in comparison with cardio considered exercises, are inherently more difficult and heavy to be done because of the intrinsic nature of our bodies. For example, our legs are naturally bigger than our arms because we simply use them to go anywhere. They are constantly holding our weight as we move, whereas the arms barely do anything. If we were to walk with our hands and arms instead of our legs, we will have big arms. This makes our upper body naturally weaker than our lower body, which makes high-paced push-ups non-stop for 10 minutes without any kind of rest something that will take a lot of training to achieve. Could you consider an activity as cardio if it requires you to rest every minute? This makes it so we need sets and reps to count the amount of work we do of high-volume calisthenics, instead of counting the amount of time and distance we are doing. On top of that, the range of motion in movements like jogging and jump rope are minimal compared to the range of motion that can be done in movements like pull-ups or dips. There is minimal flexion and extension of the hips and legs as you jog or jump rope. If you were to flex and extend the legs a lot, you will probably be doing split squats. In comparison, you bend the arms a lot as you do pull-ups or dips, involving a greater range of motion, which basically means that you are using more of your muscles. Even if high rep and sets calisthenics implies a greater time and more movement in general, which demands a greater amount of oxygen for your muscles, that in turn causes a greater and longer usage of your lungs, which demand your heart to pump blood into your muscles, basically using more of your cardiovascular system than standard weightlifting. It is still a stretch to call high volume calisthenics cardio, basically dismissing it as something that doesn't work for either any kind of strength or hypertrophy. But high volume calisthenics shouldn't be considered cardio, in the same way jogging or jump rope are considered cardio. When you see the physique of prime Hannibal King, can you really say that pure volume calisthenics doesn't work for building muscle? Even despite being in his late 40s, he still is looking massive. Despite how easy push-ups can become, they are still not cardio, and you still have dips and pull-ups, which use all of your body weight. Realistically, how many people can do 25 reps of pull-ups in 4 sets each without rest pauses? And the same goes for 35 reps of dips. Even so, if your complaint is the difficulty of the exercises and the amount of reps it takes to reach failure, each time you reach failure, your strength will decrease anyways, and you can always increase sets. Not only that, but you can always find more difficult exercises aside from pull-ups and dips, because you are not constantly progressing overloading through adding weight. You don't need to worry about reps in reserve unless you're doing skill training. You can always reach failure without worrying about your joints, unless you're a complete beginner. You don't need periodization or complex fatigue management. Along with that, you don't need to spend a lot of time warming up. 2 warm-up sets and that is enough, or maybe only 1. Not only that, but you can always bulk and increase your own body weight, making everything heavier and harder. A really heavy strongman could do 10 sets of dips and pull-ups, and that will be a challenging workout. High volume calisthenics is not cardio. It may not be at par with the combination of dumbbells, barbells, and machines for hypertrophy, but it works greatly and better than what a lot of people will think.